As of late, the United States government has been writing prescriptions for failure. The current system, which is driven primarily by money, has created a couple of monster epidemics that require immediate attention. One of which is the overprescription of highly addictive opioids and the widespread rates of overdose caused by the use. The other is the war on drugs and the introduction of mandatory minimum prison sentences, causing mass overcrowding in our prison systems. There's got to be an alternative medication, and not every addict in this country is a criminal. That's why I propose that the United States should legalize medicinal marijuana and decriminalize its use in an effort to alleviate our current opioid epidemic and lessen the overcrowding of our prison systems. The medicinal uses of marijuana are innumerable, and marijuana is far less addictive than the alternative prescription drugs. Cannabinol, also called CBD oil, is one of the compounds found in cannabis, and it has many popular medicinal benefits. Dr. Shannon and Opila Lehman wrote in 2015 in an article published in Integrative Medicine that CBD oil has been identified as beneficial in reducing nausea and vomiting, combating psychotic disorders such as bipolar, decreasing inflammation, lessening anxiety, reducing depression, improving sleep, and increasing a sense of well-being. All of these are symptoms of withdrawal from highly addictive prescription opioid painkillers. Marijuana use has been shown to reduce depression. In my opinion, this is one of our greatest mental health disorders in this country. Samantha Gebler wrote in 2015 an article titled "The Health Effects of Marijuana," in which she reported that a study on addictive behaviors conducted by 2 different universities found that those who consume marijuana occasionally, or daily even, have lower levels of depression symptoms than those who have never tried marijuana. And weekly users had less depressed mood, more positive affect, and fewer somatic complaints than non-users. Marijuana can be integrated into standard therapies and becomes more effective in some cases. Doctors Benson, Watson, and Joy wrote back in 1999 even an article titled "From Marijuana to Medicine," in which they reported that marijuana's active components in treating pain, nausea, and loss of appetite works better for patients that do not respond well to other medications. The other is decriminalizing the use of marijuana would ease the overcrowding in our U.S. prison systems. Removing mandatory minimum sentences and offering rehabilitation instead would be a very positive change. Ruderman, Wilson, and Reed reported in 2015 in an article published in the Public Library of Science that crowding overextends prison supervision, which dilutes access to drug treatment resources and causes deficient mental health services. An anonymous author wrote in 2011 in an article published in The Economist that a bill was proposed by Kentucky Senate which steers nonviolent offenders towards drug treatment rather than incarceration, and it was proposed to save over $42 million a year. The same article by the anonymous author introduced us to a similar bill passed in Texas, which mandating probation rather than prison afforded substantial amounts of money to improving treatment programs and turned prisoners from tax burdens to tax-paying citizens. Mandating probation and treatment rather than prison sentences will decrease crime rates as well. Julie Stewart wrote in 2015 in the Washington Post that dozens of states had decided to spend less money incarcerating nonviolent drug offenders and use the savings on drug treatment. In nearly all of these cases, both incarceration and crime rates subsided. Legal marijuana as an industry would also be a very lucrative commodity. By controlling the seeds, regulating distribution, and funding research, Big Pharma would stand to make as much, if not more money than they already do off prescription painkillers. Legalizing marijuana would also create jobs. Samantha Gebler wrote in 2015 in the Journal of Psychosocial Nursing and Mental Health Services that legal marijuana creates economic proliferation evidentiated by demand for alternative forms of consumption, such as edibles, exceeding supply and causing widespread production, which increases job opportunities, especially in production and distribution. Dr. Durkin wrote in 2014 an article titled The Legalization of Marijuana for Non-Medical Use, in which the regulation of restrictions placed on legal marijuana, such as where it can be used, the tracking of the plants, and enforcing laws for impaired driving, is done at a state level, and that would increase state jobs. The sale of marijuana also generates massive amounts of money at a very fast pace. Dr. Durkin also wrote in 2014 his article titled Legalization of Marijuana for Non-Medical Use, that within 10 days of legalization in Colorado, marijuana sales had generated approximately $5 million. In conclusion, we as a nation need to come together to make this a safer, more enjoyable place to live. Like I said before, there's got to be an alternative medication that does not cause overdose and is not so highly addictive. And not every addict in this country is a criminal. We can't eliminate all death, we can't eliminate all incarceration, but we can lessen it and make it more manageable. That's why I propose that the United States should legalize medicinal marijuana and decriminalize its use in an effort to alleviate our current opioid addiction epidemic and lessen the overcrowding of our prison systems.